everyone. Welcome back to Highly Unlikely with Josh and Jenaye. We're both able to be here today, which is such a treat.
Let's go.
So excited. And
I heard somebody say, can we please stop saying let's go as a people? And I'm wondering, is it still
is it as a
socially-
people or is it like the millennials say
Maybe
it?
they're just tired of it.
I guess
Here
one of
we
our
go.
kids says it around sports. It's
Yeah.
kind of a sports thing.
It is a sports thing.
Yeah. I don't say let's go very often.
No.
Unless it's to my kids. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's get there.
Let's go.
All right. Well, this episode's coming out the Monday before Thanksgiving. And so we wanted to talk about highly unlikely holidays. We're going into the holiday season. What was the one? The Halloween weekend is behind us. Thanksgiving's right ahead of us.
Some people are playing Christmas music already.
I'm one of those people.
we walked into the new Home Goods in Bismarck
I've not yet been.
in mid-October, and right when it opened, and it was all Christmas stuff. And Avery literally goes, "Christmas already?" I was
It's like,
"Mm."
yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, we already got what is it? Amazon and Target sends like their Christmas,
Yeah.
where the kids can like circle
Kids are
the
circling
toys
stuff.
and all the things.
It
Which
does
is
give you the
why
warm
it's good
fuzzies.
we really should come out with this episode in like October because they're like marketing
Yeah.
August to us. But so if you're not from Bismarck, we just got a Home Goods in Sierra. Big deal. I would maybe go as far to say, we prayed it in. Would you not say that that's been a prayer? Does
think
God even care about that?
one of
Probably not.
us is petitioning heaven for our Home Goods. The other is petitioning heaven for mercy in our budget once the Home Goods gets here. But
It's true.
we're all
It
very
is here.
excited. The
I've
kids
not
each got
been.
a $6 gift from Home Goods last night. So
They did?
yeah, we stopped there on our way home last night. I didn't
You
even
did?
tell you that.
Yeah, no, I
me and the
didn't know that.
kids went to Home Goods.
You've been there like 2 or 3 times, and I've not
I
even
went
been
to
there
Sierra
once.
and I went to Home Goods. I had to go back to Sierra for something, and then we walked over to Home Goods and
Okay.
saw the Christmas
So
stuff.
if you've never been to Sierra, just go and let it bless your heart, because what my best friend said, it's like TJ Maxx and REI had a baby, those two stores.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best way I can describe it. Or like TJ Maxx and Shields for those of you
Yeah.
that are around here. It's like they had a baby, and it's a discounted baby.
Yes. And to be clear, this episode is not sponsored by Home Goods, Sierra, or the Nothing Bundt
We're
cake that
actually
I'm
gonna
going to
talk-
eat during it. But it could be. If you're listening, just let us know.
Yeah. It's actually going to be how to fight the temptation to give in to all the things like
Yes.
Christmas in October.
Yeah, maybe they won't want to sponsor us after this episode.
That's
I
true.
don't
They might
know.
not, but that's okay because it's not about that. It's about highly unlikely believers and
Right.
highly unlikely people.
Yep.
So I just thought let's do our question. Let's decide our own.
We're not going from the bowl today. We decided our own because it's important. And it's
Yeah, I kind of have to.
Yes, let's
What's
go.
your favorite, like around the holidays? What's your favorite family tradition? Could be growing up, could be what we do now.
Ooh,
Or I'll give you like 3 options. Choose what you want. Okay?
give me 2.
Oh, but I like all 3.
And we'll do the third one separate.
Oh, favorite family tradition, or like your favorite gift you've received growing up, like at Christmas time or something.
I remember when I got a Kyocera cell phone.
What on earth was that?
It was a Kyocera.
Oh,
What was the word yesterday?
Remington's
Somebody
nodding
said
his
that they
head.
pronounced it really different than...
we were just talking about that.
No, there was
via Visco.
Oh, yeah, all the kids are like, yeah, do you got Visco? I was like, VSCO. And they
The
all
app.
laughed. Ah!
And we're like in our age when we were in our 20s, that's what we called it. Are you seriously laughing at us, you people?
Did you know it was called Visco? Yeah,
Of course
knew.
they do. They're
knew.
young.
I know. They're 21. Right?
Well, but we heard another word recently where we're like, we didn't used to say it like that. Like, but now it's like, oh, why would you say it like the way
Yeah,
we
I
say
can't
it?
remember what it was, though. So,
I can't either. It might come back to us. Okay, favorite family traditions or
so
favorite
I got a
gift growing up?
Kyocera, but that's not the actual favorite. My
That was a
favorite
phone?
was, yes,
Oh.
I got a cell phone. It was like when they,
Like a flip
like,
phone.
it wasn't even flip. It was like
Oh,
blocky.
the black with the one little mini antenna. Was it like that?
It did have an antenna, actually, now that you mention that you could pop out. And the games on it were, yeah, it just was
There
what
was
it was.
games on it.
Well, like the little, like the 2 bars on the side of the screen with the
dot-
ball bouncing
ball
in between.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's hilarious.
But my favorite was my sister walked into the living room one time and she was carrying a gift that was for all the kids. And she goes, you guys better share this with me. And so we were all really excited. And our parents got us all a classic Nintendo.
Oh, awesome.
When they first came out. I feel so old talking about Visco and classic Nintendos.
Yeah, no, you're vintage.
I did own an Atari when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So that goes way back.
That's super fun. We used to always go look at, growing up, I mean, I grew up in a very small town, so it wasn't like here where people rent limos and like go look at all the Christmas lights or something around Bismarck. But there was one house in Portland, North Dakota, that it was this man, and he would hand build a new one every year. And
like sets or designs?
Like an actual set that an extravagant one that you would like go buy at Costco now. And this was like, 25 years ago? So it'd be like, there was one where like a Santa like is putting and it went into the, one with like the reindeer. It went all the way up and up onto his roof. Like just every year it was like, what new one did he make?
What do you think makes a great Christmas light decoration? Is it music? Is it creativity every year? Something new? Is it bulk, like the number of lights?
I don't know. I'm like, personally, if we did Christmas lights, which we don't.
It'd be pretty.
It would be like white lights, very uniform. Like I love the like classy look of that. But like if you're going around to like look at lights, those aren't the houses you're looking at.
Yeah.
We have one in our neighborhood that's like hooked up to the music and it's super fun. And he adds a bunch of different things. So I think that's like interactive. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that someday on Highly Unlikely, we should play the Newlywed Game, but with me and you, and try to answer questions the same, because I totally knew how you were going to answer.
You did?
With like white aesthetic lights. And we should play it on one episode and see how much we know about each other. That'd be fun.
Oh my gosh.
I think it would be impressive.
You think?
Yes.
I hope so.
And I'm not, if you think I'm being arrogant, it's not because of me. It's because Jenaye keeps us talking about
That's
stuff.
Very true. I know I'd be very nervous. I wouldn't get stuff right about you because I might not know.
Like, I forgot to mention my favorite color is blue. Oh, well.
Or if it changed. Like, if your favorite dish changed in the past 10 years. I don't know if you'd tell me.
Yeah. My favorite dish?
Like, food.
Oh, wow. Classy. Favorite dish? It's like China?
I'm sorry. Yeah, your favorite cup.
Yeah.
Or your favorite bowl.
You guys, it is going to be one of those days where I'm a little tired. So I'm going to meander into unknown territory. And I'm also going to fail to be able to draw on the proper words and things I'm trying to say. So here we go. It's going to be real fun.
Okay, the second question I wanted to get into is, what is a family tradition that you'd want to start? Maybe we haven't started, but you'd want to.
I want to eventually have Christmas.
Yeah.
And either on Christmas Day or the day after, get in the car or get on an airplane and take our family somewhere for a week and do like a family annual, not just vacation, but like reset. Like, where are we going this next year? What memories do we love from the last year? Because I think that's something that you could, like, when our kids are 30, we could invite them into with their families, but they don't have to.
Right.
And it could just be a cool opportunity that could be a long-standing tradition. And I like to travel.
I was just going to say, this is Josh and I in a nutshell, where he's like the visionary, big ideas, and he is saying that. And I've never heard you say that. And in my mind, I am thinking...
You guys, sometimes there's people talking upstairs or flushing toilets. And so
if you heard a noise, it was someone flushed a toilet upstairs. It's fine. But he's saying that, and in my mind, I'm thinking, how? I feel like travel would be very expensive the week of Christmas. Like all those things where I need to not. What's the thing? You're in the hot air balloon, and I'm just the string holding us back to the ground, but I got to let out some string sometimes. So I felt that in that moment. That's a great idea, though.
I would accept the week of Thanksgiving as well.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I like that maybe better.
I heard of a family who did it once, and he actually wrote a guide for how to spend that week as a family that creates core memories and a reset for your family. So you go like recharge.
Did he
into the
do
new year.
7 Christmas Eve services before he left on this trip?
Probably, and that's
Did
why
he
he
really?
left for a week.
Did he really?
Well, yeah, he's at Church of the Highlands.
Oh, he was. Okay.
So I think the thing. Listen. People think that our church gets crazy around Christmas with the number of services.
Yeah, no.
They do like 3 services every day from Monday through the Sunday of Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, like dozens and dozens of services.
Totally.
It's crazy.
With that, I was thinking of like the energy, deposit where like if we were leaving to like go rest and retreat, that's one thing. But if we're going to be like plan and vision for the next year, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm done.
I think you could do both. I think you could do both, especially when the kids are younger.
Yeah.
But it's also like one of the things we've talked about with our kids that we haven't been great at implementing is just having times of open communication and conversation.
Like
about
a family meeting?
Yeah, like a family meeting, and it could be a good time for that too.
The advice we got that from was Kevin and Susie Larson. And I'm like, I was just going to say, we need to have Kevin and Susie on here.
Oh, for sure.
We haven't yet.
That's crazy.
How has that not happened?
We need to. They lead busy. They're very important, busy people, but they make time for us. So that's not an excuse. I can't blame it on them.
Josh
and
is
with
eating
that, here's
a leftover
bundt cake
and a tiny bit of frosting flung up, and I don't know where it went on
it's on
somewhere. I don't know.
We did staff development yesterday with our team, and part of it was we got them dessert from Nothing Bundt Cake.
It's
and I've
so
never
good
had a Nothing Bundt Cake before.
All right,
but I
that
saved a
was
little
just
for
the
today.
introduction, guys. I didn't answer the family tradition thing because I think I started the one I'd been longing for last year, which we'll talk about it. No, it like flew, I think, like over your head or something like that. Okay, so highly unlikely holidays.
Every time I look over at Cody, he's covering his face. I think she's embarrassed of me.
It's all right. It's okay. You're doing great.
I'm good.
Getting into highly unlikely holidays.
Here we go. I'll focus.
Really, the concept of these holidays, all these holidays, which really the two that exalt Jesus. Well, you can. I would say they don't naturally maybe exalt Jesus. You have to be purposeful in exalting Jesus is Christmas and Easter. But there's a lot of American man-made things around it. Yep. And that we just see that creeps in. And maybe you're like, what is a highly unlikely holiday? A highly unlikely holiday season or holiday is a holiday season filled with more peace than stress. That is more about outward and other people than just about yourself. And it's about also not living in regret come January. Because I think a lot of people do that. You get in the hype of all the holiday season and what you have to do and should do and can do. And then in January, you're like, I don't like December me. I don't appreciate the decisions that December me made. So we just want to talk through some of that. What does it look like to have a highly unlikely holiday? Do we do the holidays perfect? Nope. But we've learned things over time. And our holidays are unique because Thanksgiving isn't as bad. But I mean, most holidays for us are the busiest work weeks and work days as well. Mm-hmm. And so for us, a lot of our decisions have been made out of just think you always work your busiest. I think of Mother's Day, Easter, Christmas, just think of those holidays of what you'd normally enjoy or how you'd normally host and just envision your actual busiest work day on that same day or the day before people or your family are expecting you to do what you've always done. So if some of the stuff we talk about doesn't land with you, it's probably because we're going to speak from our experience, and our experience has been, 7. How many Christmas services do we do?
Well, here's what our experience will be. I mean, especially if we're talking about end of the year, around Christmas, we will do 29 services in Bismarck in December.
In the whole month of December.
In the whole month, plus 8 at our campuses. So that's Bismarck. 16, whatever that is, 39, 45, somewhere in there, services during the month. And then we have all the traditional Christmas stuff, but then it's Berkeley's birthday, Christmas,
Your birthday.
My birthday, Lily's birthday.
Fun fact about Josh, he's a New Year's baby.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? So Josh
Barely
always gets his birthday off, but a lot of people are like doing stuff or businesses are closed. It's like what is it, catch-22? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Let me get my little violin about how everybody sleeps in on my birthday because they partied the
But
night
also,
before.
you've never had to work on your birthday.
It's true.
Other people take vacation days on their birthday.
It is actually really great because I've not had to work, so I don't get to like celebrate my birthday with people I work with. But every once in a while, my birthday is on a Sunday, and then I get to see everybody.
That's so true.
And so it is kind of beautiful.
So true.
What I was going to say was in my mind, and now it's gone. So why don't you go ahead and
we were talking
continue
about.
on? It's okay.
I mean, if it comes back, just interrupt.
I'm just saying. So I think we have a very busy season, and even if we're honest, like December has been a more stressful month, and we really learned that early on in marriage. Of oh man, if we don't manage this well, like we can be at each other's throats, or like our family cannot be like
if you're not planned, it won't be pleasant.
And then you put the icing on the cake, so to speak, and you spend a lot of money. A lot of people spend a lot of money in like December and around Christmas and stuff. And that stress can just compound. And pretty soon there is no peace on earth to be found. But you find that you're just trying to get through it.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you've
Declare
broken
one
relationships.
thing, but live another. Yeah.
If you have broken relationships with people in your family, or you're getting
I
together
don't
with
think
family
it
and there's
necessarily has
tension.
to be broken. I think it's just you can feel pulled in a lot of directions.
Yep.
And there is like Christmas parties at work, and then there's now favorites parties that you do with your friends, and there's so many things that you can do, but we want to just hone us in to like there is a best yes in any given day or situation, which is the yes that God's asking you to give. It's not a yes to everything. There are good things, there's God things, and we need to have the discernment between the two. And so let's just talk about what our normal maybe stress causes around the holidays.
Yeah. So I think North Dakota is very family oriented. So very oriented around the family.
Midwest probably.
Yeah,
too,
the kind of Midwest,
of
like family of origin is a big deal. I was just in a group this morning that I lead that we talked about spiritual family, but also having a family of origin and how we actually need both.
Yeah.
And sometimes they cross over and sometimes they don't. And so you feel like you're trying to meet the needs of both the family that you choose and the family that you were born into. And so I think just pleasing everybody in that while also trying to do what you want to do is a tension for people, and it creates stress when you're not meeting other people's expectations, or most people don't set any expectations.
Proactive with it,
Proactive, but everybody has them.
Yeah.
And then when reality meets those expectations, there's frustration.
Right.
So we could talk about communication of expectations too. Another one that I already talked about is if you're like me, even like kind of how it went for our family. And here, I'm super grateful for Jenaye because we get into December and she's like, hey, Christmas is already taken care of. Like, we'll talk sometimes about like, what's our strategy for gifts this year? Like,
I have a gift tracking note that goes back to like 2018.
Yeah.
I can see what we bought for others, what we bought for the kids, and you can compare and be like, oh, okay.
We've done Christmases with the kids where we've just like really blessed them, and we were home and we wanted the tree to just kind of feel like full of presents and exciting. And we've done other years where we said, okay, they're getting something to wear, something they need, and
something you want and something to read.
Yeah. And so we've set those expectations with the kids of what
4 things.
And but we'll go to Thanksgiving if we travel to see family, and we'll be driving back on Black Friday, and Jenaye will be shopping online. And if we've not set a budget or communicated, that can be a stressful thing. But if we have a plan, then it's something that we can navigate. Or if we set cash aside ahead of time,
right?
So it's another thing that just creates stress.
You will. I don't think it matters if you're a spender or saver. I think if the rubber meets the road and you don't have a plan for your finances around the holiday, you will go over budget, because Josh isn't as much of a head of, I'm going to scope out the deals. Like, we're looking at some different kitchen appliances, and I have a spreadsheet, and I'll talk about this. Like, if you know the items you're like looking at, and some people wait for like Black Friday to actually invest in things with your homes, start a spreadsheet in may beforehand and look up the websites you would buy them from, write the date, how much it was, and actually track it, because then you get to Black Friday and they put all these pretty colors and they put all these pretty marketing things and you're like, oh my gosh, 56% off. What you don't realize is, oh no, this is the same. Actually, it was cheaper in June, but they just didn't make all this hoopla around it, right?
Yeah.
And we're being so tricked in so many ways. And if you start tracking that stuff, you're going to be shocked. And sometimes you're like, oh, this is a legit deal. Okay, I feel a lot of peace about this. But I'm not just flippantly, but I was thinking of Josh, like there was one here that like he like disappeared for a while, a day or two before Christmas. And like he just went to Target and like got all the things. It like where there's two ways too, where you are more like, I don't want to spend money, but then there could be, I haven't really thought or planned. And so there's a panic moment. So I'm going to go really quick and buy these things. And it can still be about spending as much money, but it's over a shorter period of time. So there's so many different ways that we all can approach it, right?
For sure. Do you remember, not like self-deprecating time for me, but do you remember when Lily went through the whole like Amazon magazine that came in the mail and circled a ton of stuff? And then she and I sat down at a computer and
my goodness.
we took everything that she had circled and put it on her wish list.
So like, okay, tip for parents, start, I don't even care what list, on Target or Amazon, start that. Like each of our kids has a list. Family will get a link where I'm like, if you just want to literally click a link, know exactly what they want, here's the list. And it's my way to get out of buying them stuff in a store. Because they're like, oh, Mom, this. And I was like, oh, that is so great. Let's put it on your Amazon list right now. So they get to actually look it up. They get to put it on their list. They feel like they accomplished something. So and I get to walk out of the store without a screaming toddler.
Yes.
And I say, oh, it's on the list. And they, in a moment, I think they're going to get it.
But they forget about it in 1 hour.
Josh went through and added absolutely everything that Lily had circled. And the list was just so crazy and unrealistic. I was like, what happened? Oh, and
do you know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
It reminded me of the shows that are recorded on one of my streaming devices, all the Hallmark movies that are saved in my Prime.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's me. And I love Hallmark movies.
It's been overstocked.
I mean, most of them.
No, it was a big error on my part, but Lily loved it when we were picking all these things out on Amazon.
The problem is she thought she was getting it all. Once she added
she
it,
thought
she's
we were adding them to the
waiting
cart.
for the mailman to bring all these things to her.
What a huge disappointment.
Gosh. Well, she's got you wrapped around her finger.
But we do that too. Like there's probably like 5 things on my radar right now that I want that I could afford. But I just made a list and I'm like, hey, my Christmas is coming up. My birthday is coming up. Like, here's the things that I've thought about. And Jenaye does that too, where if it's her birthday, like I know where to look, but there's still some mystery to it because you put stuff on the list you forget about.
Yeah.
And so just trying to be intentional.
Yeah.
Which as a husband, to not have to sit down and think, what does Jenaye want? What would Jenaye like? Oh, I know she mentioned.
Gosh. Please don't. I'm sorry. I don't think it's beneficial in marriages to be like, well, no, I don't want anything. And really you have a desire of your heart, or you dropped it very secretively once and you just are like hoping they remember. Like, say what you mean to say. And
there are people that are more chill or more adventurous than us that might do it different, where
1,000%.
we're just pretty much like, no, that we have a plan, you know.
So, but this can cause stress. So pleasing people, the guilt of I should do this or that, even the guilt of like someone, I've been in that spot before of like, oh my gosh, they're going to spend this much money on a gift for our kids or for us, and so I should also just reciprocate. That's also just like the pits in some Christmas or other gift scenarios, like literally where you probably like an obligation gift versus like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you and I wanted to give it to you. So, if you can develop that within your family unit, I think that would be really powerful. But even like an expectation of what needs to happen. So let's say you're hosting. Let's say this, or you're bringing people into your home, and it's like, well, what does it need to be, or what needs to be done, or how clean, or what do I need to prepare? And I just wanted to go down a vein of what is hospitality in Jesus's eyes. And what is biblical hospitality? And so, because I think if we're influenced by culture, it's not going to be like Christian hospitality, and we're going to get it wrong.
And this is probably one of the the season where people host other people the most.
Right.
And so just what is the heart behind hosting people in hospitality?
Yes. So the actual definition of hospitality is the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. And throughout Scripture, there is, I wish I had time to collect more, but there's verses and portions that speak to hospitality. You know that Jesus was hospitable. He knew how to operate with a heart of hospitality because majority of his ministry was around a table.
Mm-hmm.
And like, do you think it was just like really dead and like not warm and not like that there wasn't thought put into it? No, there probably was.
Mm-hmm.
And even just the whole Mary Martha story, even in how he directs us of where we start before we would host. Where do we start before we start doing all the things to serve and serve others? But in Romans 12, verse 13, it says, share with the Lord's people who are in need, practice hospitality. And there's a lot of verses. I have all the verses around it, but I'm not going to read them all. And Hebrews 13 also speaks to it. It says, keep on loving one another as brothers and sisters. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers. Mm-hmm. So the one from Romans is saying, share with the believers, because it says the Lord's people, the Christians who are in need, practice hospitality. And then in Hebrews, it's saying to not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. That verse alone blows my mind. Mm-hmm. That is just like, what? And then it also says, continue to remember those in prison as if you were together with them in prison, and those who are mistreated as you yourselves were suffering, like to remember them in that way. And I even think, what holiday season have you paused to pray for those that are not thinking about the things you are, that you have maybe gone to serve those that aren't sitting in a warm home that holiday season, or welcoming someone into your home that isn't a part of the family of origin, like, and knowing they don't have somewhere to go for the holidays and welcoming into your home. And that can get complex depending on your family of origin, what people would be okay with or not, or comfortable with. But Jesus speaks to it. Yeah.
Can I talk about Andrea for a second?
Yes.
Are you gonna?
No, I had no plans.
Oh, we got to like host a young like lady in our home who was from another country.
Yeah.
And she left recently. And one of the most striking things for me when she left, we took her out for breakfast and then took her to the airport. And she's kind of crying and she said, thank you for making me a part of your family.
Yeah.
And for like, because we took her with to Christmas, we wanted her to experience the holidays. And
she came with the Thanksgiving and yeah.
Yeah. And just such like a beautiful, rewarding thing to include somebody from outside just the family in that experience, you know, especially for her, like she would have been alone in this country, you know, we got to host her.
I remember when her birthday came around and I said to you, Josh, I probably spent more money than you would want me to, but I thought if Lily was living in Guatemala with another family, I would, or one of our kids, I just thought of one of our daughters, Lily or Berkeley, was living in another country for first birthday away from home, I would want someone to love on my daughter in this way. And so that was my only guideline, was to treat someone how I would want my daughter to be treated, right?
Right.
And then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Christian hospitality or biblical hospitality is about others. It's about how they feel. It's not about what they think about you. It's not about what they think about your house. It's not even what they think about your food. And so
true hospitality is about other people, not about yourself.
Yeah. And what do they leave feeling about even themselves? Do they feel more loved? Do they feel and everyone does things different. Like I know that when I host, and we host your family a lot with different things. They'll come over on Christmas Eve and different things like that. And I probably am more rigid of a person than most of your family. Your family's pretty just like relaxed. And I want to be more relaxed, but I'm more of like, here's my plan. But it's not because I want to impress anyone. It's just like I'm a more planned person. And so we're not talking about that. But like my hope would be like, that I've thought of those people in the activities. I've thought of those people in how we curated the space for conversation or for fun and laughter. And like this last year we had like crafts for the kids because we wanted it to just be special for them. And I wasn't concerned about how messy it was going to be getting. And it was just about fun and memories. And one of our kids still has the little, because we had gotten like a Polaroid camera and like, you know, and so the goal of hospitality is not to impress others or be perfect or for things to go off without a hitch of having people over. The second it becomes about us or about the host, it ceases to be something that honors Jesus.
Yeah.
And so if you want to keep Christ at the center of your holiday season, then you're going to have to shift yourself to outward focused. And that doesn't mean you can go either way. Oh, if I have to think of others, then I have to do what anyone asks me to do around the holidays. Well, no, there's difference. We did one last year on healthy boundaries in the holidays because you can be a loving son, daughter, sister, brother, auntie, and still have boundaries. It doesn't mean you have to be unloving or you are unloving. And there's a lot of different stories that can go down.
I think even like what the scripture said, you won't express biblical hospitality if it's about you, because you won't invite a stranger in. If it's about you or about your family only, you know, if you won't remember those who are in prison if it's only about you. But so if you're not going to express it biblically, it's going to be really hard to fulfill, you know, what scripture calls us to when it actually speaks to hospitality and making it about other people. And everybody says this, right? Well, it's not about how clean your house is. It's not about the food. It's just about being together. But do we actually like...
When the rubber meets the road. Yeah, that sounds real nice. That? But if you're rage cleaning and to your family, which, hello, we've been there. And I've had, you know, one of my kids say, you just care that people think our house is clean. I was like, no. This is just a responsibility of stewardship. You know,
we do care that they don't think we're hoarders.
Oh my gosh. I have told my kids I will have you watch the Hoarder Show and just say, hey, this is what happens when you think that you just don't need to ever clean up. Which maybe that's bad parenting, but it's my version, okay?
Right. But
we've never watched the show.
You can play that out too, because it's like invite people into a space where they're comfortable, you know, and you can prepare a space for them. That doesn't mean that you're cleaning to impress them, but you can prepare it in a way that makes people comfortable.
And we literally picked the current home we're in off of that because all our bedrooms are up on the same level away from the level that we host people at. So it doesn't really matter if the rest, like, if people are having to like step over, you know, a whole entire floor of Legos, that's not going to be a great experience for them. So there's like a preparation and stewarding the space that you're preparing for people to come in. That's a very valid biblical thing. But yeah, it's just and we got to be people who are very honest in our self-reflection. And that's, I think, what's missing a lot of times is like, no, it is all about others. But then you're still like really stressed about what other people think. And it's like, well, no, if it's about them and you've done your best, like just let it go. You know,
funny story. I was trying to get our kids to clean up their rooms yesterday. We were talking about, I can't remember I was trying to get them to clean up a little bit. And because they're having a babysitter come over and the babysitter got there and they hadn't really cleaned up, or maybe we saw her before. I can't remember, but we were talking about, I was like, you don't want her to like find food in your bed, do you? And I said, which one of our kids would most likely have food in their bed? And the one that would be the most guilty just looked at the ground and was like, so.
There's just one that like snacks at all times of the day.
Yes. But then the person who was babysitting said, well, I did come over one time and I found a tortilla in Avery's bed. And I remember when he was younger, he used to just eat tortilla shells.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Anyways.
You know, some of you are just like, absolutely dying inside because you would never let your kid have food in their room. We're not those parents. So.
No, we give our kids a bedtime snack.
We do. Literally bedtime snack.
Yes.
So, okay.
But then they sleep all night. Praise the Lord.
Okay. This is...
Sorry, hospitality.
I'm sorry. We've taken so many rabbit trails. So you need to set your boundaries before. Okay. So that's your budget. Another thing you have to budget is your time and energy. Those are harder to budget because you can't save up your energy and you can't save up your time. You can save up your money and like you can tell your money where to go in different spaces and places and in different ways, but you're going to have to tell your time where it's going to go. So And even being strategic, like if you're like, I'm going to be more missional this holiday season. Well, if you don't make a plan of where you're going to find that time, it's not just going to happen. So even for us, we do an advent calendar.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this? It's like the fulfillment of one of my dreams that I made my own. It's really not pretty.
So pretty.
Oh, that's kind. It's not. It looks like one of our kids probably did it, but it works with little boxes. And I looked at our calendar and correlated the document that I created this in, where it was like, December 1st, and I looked at our schedule. I knew what we had, and I would pick our activities based off of what we had on our calendar. And the goal of this Team Shaldal Advent calendar is like to get the kids not so focused on themselves. It's not just like the countdown to Christmas. It's like, it was about delivering things to our neighbors, which we always do. What night were we going to do that? One night is about fun, where we go and pick out their yearly Christmas ornament, which is like, I feel like they're going to be older and like look back on that one family tradition that's been so fun. And decorating the tree. What night are we decorating the tree? Like, I am intentional, and then I make it fun with this advent calendar that we made, and they'll open it. And but I even asked a bunch of friends of like, what are some fun ways that kids could serve or in the month of December? And even here at Evangel, we do a December City Reach, which is a beautiful opportunity. Many different things. I'm trying to think of some of the ones we did. But so that is our way to be very intentional. But we also need to be intentional with our budget.
Yep. So I think when you're setting an energy budget, one of the keys is everybody makes to-do lists, but we often make to-do lists that go beyond our energy. And so I've even felt that in our workplace. We now work off a project management tool, and there's all these to-dos, but nobody actually sits down and budgets out how much time is this really going to take.
Exactly.
And so you get overwhelmed. You feel like you're never winning. Where what I did for a while, and I need to get back to, is every to-do I had, I put on my calendar the amount of time that I thought and when I was going to do it. So you're actually managing your energy like, oh, I have 2 weeks worth of stuff to do here that I was expecting to get done by Thursday,
That's a great point.
So managing your energy budget as much as any other budget in your life.
Yeah, definitely. The other things now, we kind of spoke to it, which maybe it's too late. It'll be November 25th when you hear this, but write down, if you are going to be doing gifts, write down and have a plan for that. Don't just go to a store and allow the marketing to speak to you, because it's just literally trying to get you to spend more money. I worked at Gap for 6 years, all through college as a Gap girl. Loved it. It's pretty much all I wore all through college. I don't know if I really made money there. I think I just spent it all. But I learned so much about how they get people to buy more. There's a reason why the sales racks are at the back of the store, because you got to walk by all the full price stuff to get to the sale stuff, and they're hoping that you'll buy things. And then even the way they word the sale is to make it sound like it's a better deal than it is. And I'm not great at math, but I got to think of an example. If it's you get 15% off each of these items. Well, it sounds a lot better if it's buy one, get one this, right? And you're going to be ooh. But if they said, each of them are 15% off, you'd be like, no, thank you. Yeah. So what? Why are you smirking?
Oh, because it reminds me of a funny BOGO story that we don't have time to tell.
I'm trying to remember what someone...
I knew that it was going to hit your funny bone.
Okay, I'm going to tell it, but I'm going to keep their identity protected. That someone...
Do you remember? I can't remember how it went.
So you know how people sell their own products? For example, Norwex. People will sell their Norwex products, or they'll sell Mary Kay or whatever. Someone we know that does something like that. They posted about this product or something, and they said it's a BOGO sale, and gave all these details. And then they got a bunch of messages from people who also sell the same thing or on their team or something like that of I didn't realize that this is a BOGO sale. what are the details of that? The person was like, wait, I thought BOGO just meant it's a really good deal. They had no idea it means buy one, get one. Like, buy one, get one free. So they're just like, when they see a BOGO deal, they just thought it meant this is a really good deal.
That's so awesome.
And
we've all had those moments, okay? Just to let that person off the hook, we've all had those moments.
Yes, but
where we thought
I mean, I think that person
didn't.
laughed really hard at it too, if I'm remembering
it's
right.
so funny.
Oh my gosh, I've totally done stuff like that. But so maybe that's you. Maybe don't fall for the BOGO that just is the best deal. It usually means buy one, get one, something.
Yeah,
half off,
you've just
free.
been buying one and not even getting your one.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. I would say, leading up to Christmas and around Christmas, to keep Christ at the center of Christmas would be to be intentional about when are you serving throughout leading up to the holidays? Who are you serving? Is it just yourself? I even think teaching your children to serve one another in love is huge. Mm-hmm. So like now I'm remembering things in our Advent calendar. It's like one day it might be about going out and doing works in the community. It might be about like loving on people in the community, but it also might be like choose something nice to do for one of your siblings today. Mm-hmm. Like, and just getting the focus off of them. And then we started last year, more than us, we don't buy them. Mm-hmm. From what I remember, we don't buy them the gifts. It's like if they get one gift they want, we allow the siblings to choose it for each other. And it's so interesting how in our nature, we so naturally like, I like that. Because the kids are going like, I really think that she'd like this or he'd like this. And I'd say, you think that they would like that? Or do you really like that? And then it's like, I really like it. Okay. So how do you consider someone else? How do you put yourself in their mind? And like even some adults, we have to think that way because maybe you really love getting gifts, but it's because you love the gift. Right. And you want to be like, ooh, I really love this. And so I got it for you. Are you thinking of you or are you thinking of the person? Maybe you're really like, ooh, I really think you're going to like this. But how about we go the extra mile to actually figure out what someone loves? Like I just, it was a friend's birthday yesterday. And I just recently took a trip with her and I found out something that she had never gotten a facial. And she's like, I really want to try one. And I really want to. And in that moment, I thought, I know I'm going to get her a gift card to this new facial place in town. And like, that's my gift because I heard her say it. She probably never would have wrote it down.
Yeah.
You know, but like
it's
intentionally
not fair.
Listening.
It's not fair because because you notice stuff like that. You're so intentional as a person and you hear stuff.
Listen.
You're gifted in it. So for the rest of us.
That's funny. Okay.
You gotta
speak to the rest of us.
To the rest of us, like Jenaye will text me and be like, hey, I love these shoes. And she'll send me the link like to help me out. Or I have to hear her say something and write it down immediately or text myself because I don't naturally think, oh, they said this. And so I could do that. Like my mind just doesn't naturally fire that way. So maybe you're built like Jenaye and you're just good at being intentional in that way. But for the rest of us, you got to be intentionally intentional. I was thinking about what you were saying about the kids and like getting each other gifts. And I was thinking, we're all trying to get the Veruca salt out of our children.
I want it now.
Yes.
I want it now, Daddy.
Yeah.
Who just did that? Bianca, when she was here for conference, didn't she do a Veruca salt impersonation?
Didn't Alex Sealy preach a message about that?
She does a beautiful message on really explaining the gospel through Willy Wonka and all the characters.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Really powerful.
Yep. All right, what were we supposed to be talking about? Oh,
we're just talking about like hacks on budgeting and tracking and planning for it.
One thing that we do as a family, not saying we think every family needs to do this. Also, some people are way more extroverted and we have grown more introverted as time's gone on. And even what that means, and I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe I've always been introverted, but then I had kids and we started leading thousands of people and maybe I'm just feel more introverted and tired, which could very well happen. But after, like for us, like Christmas Eve, it's amazing. We look forward to it because we see people we only see once a year because they're either only in town to visit family, but you're seeing thousands and thousands. I always tell Josh, you put on so much hand sanitizer.
And we're usually sick 2 days later.
Exactly, because you are around you're
So
just
many
around
people.
so many people. And that's just the reality of it. And it's such a gift. But with that,
I did learn my lesson. It was like 3 days after Christmas Eve a couple years ago, and I spent the night
we spent a whole holiday once.
on the shower floor of a hotel room.
Yeah,
And it
because
was
we traveled
awful.
right after, and then we all got hit with
Yeah, we all
whatever
got
was
a
in
bug.
the air
Yeah.
of one of those services.
Yeah.
You know.
Or somebody's hand we shook.
Or someone's hand. Yep. So I think we've learned, though.
So come to Christmas Eve, everybody.
Oh, my gosh. I think, well, like, you go to a concert somewhere and don't think anything about it.
Or you're out shopping for the holidays.
Yeah. Go to the mall.
Take
Way
your
more
vitamin
people.
C, wash your hands, try to stay healthy.
So
eat good food.
Where was I going with that? Josh? Where was I going with that?
I'm sorry. I have...
About how we're more introverted. Oh.
Yeah.
We just came to a conclusion through, like, the help of a mentor when we were talking about, like, how do you manage holidays? For us, it's unique because for a lot of people, you have, like, your side of the family and your spouse's side of the family. Yep. Or maybe you're not married yet and you just have really your family. Our story goes that we have Josh's family, we have my family, which is split into two due to a divorce. And so even if we did the darndest of every holiday, it's impossible to split our time. Even if you're like, we rotate Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like, that doesn't work for us. We have 3 families. We'd be excluding someone every year. So,
and it's not even like one parent is off on their own. It's like even people are remarried with kids and grandkids involved. So it's like full family units all around.
Yes. So you have to balance this. You have to seek the Lord on this for yourselves. Because I think you can make these decisions based out of exhaustion or based out of like, I just don't want to. And I think there's sometimes we try to make our plans in advance where we will say most times after Christmas Eve, we don't want to travel. Mm-hmm. And it's North Dakota. It's like, you might get stuck in a blizzard. We've driven on roads that I look back and I think that was not worth it. Yeah. That was not safe. Why did we do that? Mm-hmm. But it was because, we had made plans, And so we've had moments where we look back and we think, gosh, we could have been more wise there. It was nice of us to make it work.
And I think you reevaluate those things when you have little kids. Like, am I willing to kind of like put them through that or put them at risk?
Right. So we have a method for our family where every 3rd year is almost like a sabbatical year, like a Sabbath year for traveling to try hit up every family member, like to hit up the different families and travel to them or travel back and split our time between so many different family members. And last year was supposed to be our year, but I had a nephew it was his first Christmas. And I said, Josh, would you be willing? Mm-hmm. I know we're supposed to take a break. And Josh was very gracious of like, yes, we can do that. We can move our things. So this is our year where we're not traveling, but people are more than welcome to come to our house is what we say. Like, we still want to see you. It's not that we don't want to see people and spend time with them. We're just saying for our family, so we don't get frazzled and wear ourselves thin, this is what we've realized we can do. Mm-hmm. And I can't speak to how other people in our family feel about that. For the most part, I feel like people have been really understanding. And you kind of got to work all these, because even like my little brother got married and he lives out of state and they always go to hers for Thanksgiving and then they'll come to ours for Christmas. And so I know, like with Jenaye's nephew on her side, or our nephew on her side, that we're going to move heaven and earth sometimes to be in his life. Mm-hmm. And also, like, I rarely get to see my little brother and sister-in-law, and so we're going to try to work that in. They've made a family decision where they're not going to be home at all for Thanksgiving because they have to also travel a long distance to be with her family, and we respect that. Yeah. And like, we don't get grumpy about it. Like, it's what the decision that they've made. Just trying to do the best that you can.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of holidays crammed really close together.
Right. Why did they do it that way? I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Well, some would say that it was for the commercialization of the holidays, but I don't.
I mean, I'm sure there's some theories that my brain can't even delve into. Yeah. But I think, but with that, I just think of the friends that I know where all their family's in Bismarck and they're more like, if we're home, that's weird because everyone's in town and it would seem weird to be like, we can't drive down the street to there, but they like, go drive down the street.
Do you feel like we need to clarify what we just said? Like
what?
Like Jesus wasn't actually born on Christmas Day in America, December 25th.
What do you mean?
We could do a whole, like, I just said that they might have set the holidays for commercialization, and people are like, no, that's when Thanksgiving actually, like, the origins of it actually happened, and Jesus was born on December 25th. Well, I'm not totally prepped to, like, really dive into it, but let me just say, December 25th is a date that was, like, chosen to celebrate the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
Not necessarily he was born exactly on December 25th. Right. So.
Well, and that's where we said at the beginning, like, really all these holidays, there are a couple that can be the ones that you say are designed to glorify Jesus. But if you just go the American way, it's not going to glorify Jesus. It's going to be about
the commercialization
and the commercialization of
trying to sell you stuff, really.
And so the highly unlikely way is to choose to not be like, oh, I just got to stick my head in the sand. And like, no, it's like, you got to acknowledge the reality of the world that's around you, but you can be intentional to not just give way to the current of culture and be intentional and different. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll be organized enough. Okay, I'm going to say a big maybe. At minute 51 of this podcast, if you made it here, congratulations. But
it's actually 50 we started.
Okay. Maybe I'll be on top of it enough. I'm going to try my darndest to where we could put in the show notes like almost like a template of that, like the Advent strips that we made. I can make like a template of like different things where you could make your own and try be purposeful with your time. Maybe not. Maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if people are looking for tools like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can buy an Advent calendar anywhere. But to make one that focuses on Jesus, but is curated to your family's schedule, yeah, it takes a little extra time. But I think it's like realistic. And it's not just like I'm opening a different one every day and I'm getting a piece of chocolate. Like it could be that we're going to sit around together. Like one of them is like sitting around and reading the Christmas story out of scripture. Like, and then you're kind of forcing yourself to do that with your family too. Like you've said it in stone. Yes. What are you thinking?
I was like, if you're watching on YouTube and you want the tools, you can comment. Let us know you want the tools.
That's true.
You know, or stop us and say, hey, I listen to your podcast. We want the tools. And maybe we can work harder to get that stuff into your hands if it's helpful.
Also, we do a generosity lesson every once in a while with our MLC students. And we have something here at Evangel where anyone on staff, we have this like big spreadsheet where like it's their gifts and strengths and love language. But then we get to like, what are your favorite stores? What's your favorite drink at Joy House? Or what's your favorite drink in general, like beverage and like, stores, food, snacks, all that kind of stuff. And we'll show up to this generosity teaching with our MLC students. And like for one person, it's like they like Heath Bar and Sunjoy, something like from whatever, Chick-fil-A. And like that's what they're given at the start of the session. Or someone it's like a Monster and pistachio. Like it's so specific to like, this is exactly what I like. And doesn't cost much money to do that.
Yeah.
And that is more of our lesson where it's like
how meaningful
generosity is above and beyond, but that can be the thought and intentionality is above and beyond in not expensive ways. Some of the most intentional gifts I think we've received have not been these super elaborate ones that are like crazy expensive, but really thought out and special. So.
I think a good step too is like just make a list of on December 25th, who am I going to wish that I would have expressed love or appreciation to?
Right.
Rather than getting to that day and being like, you know, and whether they're going to get you a gift or not, whether they're going to drop you a note or not, like
it's not about that.
I know for me, Jenaye, it does just to a degree come more naturally. She's just intentional about her relationships. For me, I have to sit down and go, if I don't do this right now, I will live in regret on that day. Yeah. And so I need to process it now.
Yeah. Right. So. Hopefully this is helpful.
Yeah.
Or encouraging of like, oh yeah, the holidays are coming. I got to get my mindset ready. Or it's going to happen to me, you know?
Yeah.
Not be intentional with how I go through the holidays. So
we may do another one more focused in and
because we'll have one that releases like December 23rd, like right before Christmas. So that might be just like a Christmas edition.
And maybe we can do like a Q&A on Instagram, like what would be helpful in preparing for Christmas or something like that.
Right.
So
yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for joining. I feel like we got to do all this stuff at the front end, not the back end. Because, like, who listens all the way till now? And when they know we're going to say, subscribe,
to
share
be fair,
it.
on the last one I recorded, I don't know if it was released in this order, but I said, I'm not even going to do all the things. You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We can start doing it on the front end. Hey, right at that.
Yeah.
Subscribe, rate it, whatever, share it.
Let's do it.
So, okay, all those things and all that to say. We'll see you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.